I sustained my brain injury. It was 2012, October the 6th. I was riding my bicycle downtown Greenville, South Carolina, and was not wearing a helmet, unfortunately. And I really have no clue of how it happened because I have amnesia for about 4 weeks before and a few weeks after. But they say either a car stopped at a red light in front of me or abruptly pulled out of a parking place, and I hit the car, flew over the handlebars and hit my head on a guardrail. I suffered a severe traumatic brain injury, so I was unconscious for more than 24 to 48 hours. I was 33 years old when this happened. Before my brain injury, I was a bartender downtown Greenville, South Carolina. Had been for 10, 12 years, I think. I had a pretty big social life, going out, hanging out with everybody, and I was pretty known downtown Greenville, South Carolina. I lived right downtown and worked downtown, so had a lot of friends. They actually had to shut down the ER the night I went in because of all the visitors that came influxing through the doors. They had to shut down visitation from the ER. I was in a coma for 3 days, ICU for 10, so for 2 weeks I don't remember anything. Then when I started coming to was when I was in the room on the floor of the hospital, the rehab floor. And I just remember waking up and being very confused, not knowing exactly where I was, who I was. I mean, I knew who I was, but people would come into the room to meet me, or my friends that I'd known for 20 plus years, and I would call them by a different name sometimes. But I do remember just in the beginning telling myself, you just need to wake up in the morning. And then when I got to a place where I knew I was going to wake up, I just wanted to get to a place where I could better myself. I was released to my father's care, who was a retired nurse, and back to our farm in Nichols, South Carolina, which is in Horry County. And I basically had to learn how to do everything again. It's almost, I tell people, it's kind of like hitting reset on your phone or something. All the apps are still there, but you got to open them back up. You got to re-enter all your passwords and everything like that. So it was learning how to drive again for the first time, learning how to use a keyboard again. It was just a big change in the beginning. Just learning how to do things again. My father had been a registered nurse in the emergency room, so he'd seen traumatic brain injuries, but he saw them briefly or instantly. And then he never saw anything afterwards. He didn't know what the rehabilitation was from a traumatic brain injury. He knew how to care for one acutely. So he didn't know what to do. So he found the Brain Injury Association actually online and called them. And the Brain Injury Association walked him through what to expect while I was recovering. And all brain injury recoveries are all different. I almost say brain injuries are like snowflakes. No two are the same because everybody's brain is different. So we don't know how to tell people this is how so-and-so is going to recover. It's going to take this long for you to recover. So it's kind of a guessing game for all of us. But the Brain Injury Association of South Carolina told my dad what to expect, gave him some resources and contact to reach out towards in Greenville, South Carolina, which is where I was living at the time. And then some resources for him here in Horry County. And so they really helped him out a lot and facilitated a grant even for some of my stay at the rehabilitation hospital that I had to stay at Rogers C. Peace in Greenville. I went to Greenville, South Carolina, and that's kind of where I was kind of alone. So here I had my dad. There I had my friends, but my friends knew me before my brain injury, and they didn't really know how to deal with the way I was, how acutely I was after my brain injury. So I kind of started reaching out pretty quickly. I started looking for support groups and asking my therapist that I had worked with at the hospital and everything, my speech therapist actually, who I still stay in contact with via text every now and then. gave me the information for the support group in Greenville, South Carolina, the brain injury support group, ran by Kay Brooks, and that's kind of where I started. And I started seeing a lot of people that were a little bit worse off than I was, or may have not had the opportunities to rehabilitate the way I rehabilitated. And I knew that I had to do something. So that's why I went back to school. I always say it was the best, worst thing that's ever happened to me. Meaning, before my injury, I really had no path in life, no focus, nowhere to go. Then I sustained my injury, and the people that gave me my life back were my therapists. They taught me how to walk again and talk again and do things over again. And I knew that I could never pay them back, but I could pay it forward. So it impacted my life by way of, I started going to support groups, and I went back to school to be a physical therapy assistant, and now I'm working in a hospital system, Tidelands Rehabilitation Hospital, where I am helping people that have traumatic brain injuries get back to where they can better themselves. The Brain Injury Association gave me and my father, much needed, just somebody to talk to, somebody to find out, hey, what do I do now? What's going to happen? And then my support group was more for an individual support, more to talk to people that were going through the same things I was going through, and who had been where I had been. The first thing you need to do is contact the Brain Injury Association of South Carolina. They are going to have all the information, all the resources that are available to you and your family. So I would say that would be my first step. The second step is don't give up. It's a long healing process. I still think that I'm somewhat still healing, and I'll let you know when I get there. But don't give up.